Everybody. Yeah, I'll just really start, coming off the bye week. I think I talked for many weeks about not having a bye week. Right, we had that really tough stretch. Started out, we didn't get a bye week, I think, till week 8. I thought it was tough, especially installing everything we did and really introducing your first year program out there. But now we're through our second bye week. I'm grateful for that. I think having 2 in the back end really helps us. It gives us some confidence and it helps our body as now we prepare for really to finish this season. So I'm excited about what we've been able to get done during this time off, but really excited that we have game week back here and getting ready for our opponent. So with that, I'll open up to you guys for questions.
Yeah, you talked about the bye week. How much of an additive boost is it coming this week with the quality of opponent you're playing and getting that extra week to prep on them?
Well, I think it's always important when you're playing the top level of opponent in your league. Getting extra days to prep is always advantageous, right? You'll never turn those down. But for me, I think the advantage we got in this bye week compared to the first one is that we were healthier going into it. The first bye week, which 3 weeks ago now, it became more of a how do we catch our young football players up? How do we manage the roster to try to get ourselves healthy to head into the back half of the season? This time we hit the bye week, we were fairly healthy, so we could grow in the bye week, right? We could really take a hard look at what we're doing and things that we can now look to as we take on not just North Texas, but South Florida, right? Two of the best programs in our league, finish up our campaign, and so having this extra time, I think was needed and really important.
And when you look at North Texas and that extra time, what kind of stood out to you about their program right now?
Well, I think they're a model for programs like us. North Texas is not necessarily seen as a powerhouse coming into this year, whether you're talking about the American or you're talking about on a national stage. And now here they are nationally ranked at 22, right? They're sitting at a great spot to potentially be in the college football playoff. And what a testament to Coach Morris, what a testament to that staff, and really to the vision for their athletic program that they could see themselves making that move. And so for those of us in year one across the country, in programs that are in Group of 5, you look at programs like North Texas that have changed who they are, and you have a great deal of respect for them and know that that's where you want your program to go to. So, that's the first thing I see. And then, I see a football program that man, they're playing with a ton of confidence, incredibly skilled on both sides of the football. And they've recruited players to fit their scheme, right? Which is important for all of us, right? Right. Surround your programs with players that fit you. And here they are now deep into this, and they're playing as good as football as anybody we've played all year.
I guess he played for Leach. So the assumption is the air raid. I just don't want to assume it's just like Leach, but what are the similarities or differences if there are any?
Well, I say often, I think there's not a great deal of differences in what I think option programs want to do and what air raid programs want to do, right? They really want to put people on islands. They want to make sure that defense has to play assignment football and play disciplined football. And they're okay with controlling the clock and putting long drives together, right? The air raid principle is not necessarily, hey, let me sling it down the field 20, 30 times a game. And you can look at, North Texas against UAB, their first drive was, I think, 15 plays, right? Very methodical. Now, that drive looked a little different from ours, but very methodical, right? Going to take what the defense gives them, take the short pass to give it to you, take the short pass to give it to you, and then find an opportunity to be explosive. And, and so it's not a whole lot different, just it looks wildly different when you're watching as a fan base. So I think it has a ton of principles, a ton of characteristics that you would see in a Mike Leach run offense. I mean, they're willing to run the football. Mike Leach would run the football when he had the skill sets to run it and utilize that, and they'll do the same. And I think that's what makes them incredibly effective on the offense side of the football and really hard to really defend and plan for is that, they have a lot of skill sets to hurt you through the air, but they are willing to run the football if that's what you give them.
And what's the senior class meant to you in your first year getting the program going?
Yeah, I love that question. I think first year, or in a new program, your first year, your senior group, that's the first one you somewhat inherit, or in this new landscape, you bring a few in, right? They become a really special group for you as a coach. And that's no different here. I'm so grateful for our seniors that stayed on board when we arrived and believed in our vision and where we wanted to take Rice football. And I'm equally as grateful to those guys who came into the program in the transfer portal and said, hey, yeah, I want to be a part of what you guys are doing. And I believe in Rice football and what we can accomplish. And so I'm incredibly grateful for them. I look forward to celebrating them Saturday night and honored to be a part of that.
Coach, in terms of your health coming off the bye week, and I know you kind of talked about that a little bit, but are you at least 90, 95%, 100% in terms of health of the players and rested up well enough to go against a really good North Texas team?
Well, I think we're as healthy as we're going to be with kids that we had an opportunity to get back. Does that make sense? So, you lose people for the season that, and you guys know some of those people that aren't playing anymore and aren't suiting up anymore. And those guys aren't coming back for the year. With guys that we've been suiting up with and playing with these last 2 or 3 weeks, we're probably about 95% healthy, right? There's a couple that will be game day decisions or ones that you're not quite sure of will be able to suit up. And I think we're probably as fresh, our legs, our bodies, as we've been in months, right? I really believe that, and that, I think our strength staff and our offseason program is really paying dividends for us at this stage. And I think if you look at the quality of football I think we've played, let's take the first quarter out against Memphis, which wasn't real good, but the other 3 quarters were. We went toe-to-toe with them. And then, the UConn game and UAB coming off the last, I think we're playing good football right now. And I think a part of that is you just don't line up on Saturday and play good football, right? I think all that preparation that we did January, February, March, April, I think that has given us the confidence and ability to really play our best football heading into the back half of this season.
Rather have North Texas coming here than playing them on the road. It doesn't matter.
No, well, listen, yes, it matters. I mean, yeah, I'd much rather have I'd rather play every game here. Let's be clear, okay? But when you're playing a nationally ranked team, right, you want to be at home, okay? You want to have your home field advantage, and I think that happens all across the country, right? Playing on the road's tough. We know that, and so playing at home. I'm happy about that. I'm excited for that. And this will finish our home schedule for us. And I'm looking forward to a great home crowd. So all our fans out there, listen, let's show up. Let's be a part of this. I know North Texas will be a great fan base. So should be a great Saturday night here on national TV, right? And, we look forward to that opportunity.
Keys to the game?
Well, I think I'll start – offensively for them and defensively for us. We have to tackle well, right? They're going to spread the field, and sometimes that's going to be across the field, right? They're going to spread you vertically and horizontally, and so that spreads your defense. So we've got to tackle in space well, really well, right? And we need to force them into those long drives. And I said they're okay with that and they're comfortable with that. Well, that's going to shorten the game. And we want to shorten the game. And then if you flip, right, how do we control the football? How do we put long drives together, sustain long drives, right? And I think that's a big game. And then, we've got to win the turnover battle, right? They're very opportunistic. They forced 24 turnovers on the year defensively, right? We need to take care of the football. That's been a secret sauce that probably doesn't get talked about, right? Their offense overshadows on their defense, but their defense has 24 takeaways on the year. Well, that makes every offense better. It makes every program better. And so, we need to take care of the football. We need to sustain drives. And then, I think we have to establish our mode of football. They want to establish what they do. We want to establish what we do. And, who can do that early on, I think will be a big key.
Coach,
Sorry, Coach, I know you mentioned the improvement of the North Texas defense. It's kind of an underrated story with North Texas. But having the fact that they faced two, I know you're not running a service academy style option, but the fact that they've played Army and Navy, what have you seen in film that they're good at, or maybe things that you can exploit in terms of options, running their defense up against an option style game?
Well, I mean, we're all three pretty wildly different, right? Army, it really condenses the box, a lot of quarterback run, quarterback isolation, quarterback power, right? Navy, a little more wing tee principle, a little more gap scheme. And so, yeah, we're different. I think what you gain from that is you just watch them defending run, right? We the three of us want to run the football. And so that didn't get lost on us. And I think, what North Texas does well, I'll start with, in both those games, they forced turnovers early. They really did, right? In both those games, Army and Navy, they forced early turnovers, got ahead, got out in front. And then, certainly Army found success as the game went on and when they held on to the football. But, getting out in front is very advantageous for any football team. And so I know they did that well. And I think they rallied to the football, right? I think they play a very complementary style of defense, meaning all 11 guys doing their part, right? All getting to the football. And I think that's part of the reason they have 24 takeaways, right? When a opportunity arises, somebody's there to collect it. And I think they do a fantastic job of that.
And then I did want to ask you, played a lot of good offensive players this year. Haven't had a ton of instances where you got an elite quarterback and an elite running back both together. How does that kind of complicate your defense with Hawkins and Mestemaker?
Well, I mean, they're just two of the really talented people, right? I mean, when I look at their offensive roster, right? I mean, you got to talk about Young, right? I mean, he's a deep ball threat. He's incredibly athletic and really fast, and they find really creative ways to get him the football, right? They'll shoot him down the seam, and at the same time, they'll give him a jailbreak screen, right? So, they give you a lot to defend. And, Messmaker, he does a great job of getting the football to all of his athletes. And so I think the challenge is not just really defending one, taking him away or taking this person away. I think it is playing complementary football, and we have to be very disciplined and everyone embrace their job, their role, and then all 11 rally to the football. I don't know if that answered your question, but I think they're talented in quite a few positions, and I think probably their line's overlooked, right? They don't get no one's overlooked. Their offensive line gets talked about a lot, but he doesn't get a lot of pressure, right? And so when he has time, he's very confident, as he should be. Yeah. Anything else? All right, appreciate you. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, can you just kind of pull us behind the corner? Like, where is the offense at after having a bye week where y'all were healthy? Like last time, well, a lot of your starters were on the field, but how much did it matter this week to get that bye week with most guys getting reps?
Well, like Coach said, we had a chance to, get ahead of the curve. And a lot of the people that we're playing with, on Saturday, like I said, getting ahead of the curve. And then, also getting to work our techniques, getting to work, different schemes and stuff like that. I know it just, makes us prepare for Saturday's game.
And then I know every year is different, but I think back to the last time Rice and North Texas played, it was at their place, and that win looked like for the moment was going to knock you out of bowl eligibility. Anything in the back of your head of, we get the chance of a redo to kind of get one over on them this time?
Yeah, so crazy thing is I didn't get to play in that game because I was hurt. I was out. So I was watching on my TV back down at Dickinson. And then when I saw, that we lost by, a field goal or whatnot, I was devastated because, that was the last game of the season. And you're like, dang, I can't, go out with my brothers anymore. But, we obviously got the chance. But we don't want to leave it up to chance of a 5-7 season. We want to, obviously earn our bowl right. So extra motivation.
If possible, in this time, describe what your time at Rice has meant and what senior day will mean for you.
My time at Rice has been unbelievable, to be honest with you. It taught me so many lessons. I've been through so many trials and tribulations, and those trials and tribulations ultimately got me to where I am today. And without God, I wouldn't be here standing at this podium right now. You know, if you tell me 2 years ago you would be standing here, you'll be a captain of the Rice football team, I would say, no, you know, you're a liar. But because of God and because of people that He brought to my life, like Coach Abell, I'm able to stand at this podium right now and be a captain of this Rice football team.
Talk about what playing North Texas means to you.
I feel like playing North Texas is going to be a big game for me, because I drop the A-ball Memphis game. I would say, you know, the nationally ranked team coming into our home, and then, you know, just kind of like drop the A-ball. So I feel like this is kind of like a redemption game, kind of like the same circumstances. Plus, this is a game to get bowl eligible. So I feel like I let my teammates down in Memphis game. So I feel like I have a little bit more of an edge coming into this North Texas game.
Any thoughts about Dickinson playing Pearland?
Yeah. It's going to be a really good game. You know, Pearland has a tough defense, but Dickinson has a great offense as well. So it's going to be a really good game. You know, I always bet on blue, so yeah.
And can I ask you a little bit? Little Birdie told me that Coach Abell recruited you to Dickinson or to Davidson. What's kind of that full circle moment being from that initial relationship to we're going to hire a new head coach, and it ends up being somebody you already know?
Right. So he recruited me down to Dickinson. I actually committed, right? Then Rice came, PWO for a fullback. I kind of wanted to play fullback in college, right? And then, you know, coach gets fired. I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And then literally God places Coach Abell in a position. I'm like, whoa, Coach Abell. So I literally called my mom. I'm like, Mom, like Coach Abell just got hired on to be the football coach. She was like, from Davidson? I was like, yeah, from Davidson. And she was like, well, look at God, you know. And it's crazy because when you have faith and you put your trust in God, He like opens up doors. And then Coach Abell coming here, like I already had like a previous relationship with him and a connection. So it just came full circle. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Hey, Micah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Blake.
How are y'all?
All right, we talked a lot of offense. What can you tell me about your defense this extra week with a bunch of guys healthy and playing together during the bye?
Yeah, like you said, healthy's a big part in that. This bye week helped us out a lot, just getting our bodies and our feet back under us and our legs right. But yeah, like Coach Abell was harping on earlier, it's just the main focus has been our main focus over the past couple games, just doing our job. And, you know, really just another big focus is tackling, you know, really just having all 11 just pursuit to the ball and just be relentless and just tackle with extreme effort. I feel like those are like the two biggest things on defense that we're focusing on. Just continuing to do better every day.
How important was it just to kind of see, Coach talked about y'all playing some of your best football after playing defense going into the bye, where y'all were kind of banged up and getting tired, to having some really good defensive performances last couple weeks? Now when, you know, the lights shine the brightest, literally, senior night.
Yeah, it's always good to see a transition, you know, like when you're not playing the best ball that you know you can play, and then you kind of get that bye to kind of reset and then come back and see them be firing on all cylinders. It's real good to see that, and real good to see that it's being acknowledged. And, you know, bye weeks are just great for rest and just get our mind off things and get a reset. So excited to go out for this one.
Talk about the North Texas offense. Any differences or similarities, what you've seen from some other teams?
Yeah, it's just one heck of a quarterback. You know, like you said, it's got a pretty good running back as well. I just feel like they all complement each other very well. You know, in some offenses, you see some groups doing better than the others and some not. But I feel like these are a very well put together team and a very like experienced team. So I feel like they all mesh together as a unit and come together really well.
Can you talk about what these last two games mean to you, starting with the North Texas game?
Man, yeah. Sorry if I get a little emotional, you know. But yeah, these games this game, I've been around this game my whole life. Knowing these could potentially be my last two is they mean more. And, for Micah and a bunch of other guys to make us go out there, do a lot more or play a lot harder. Just knowing most of us are future and future not being, we don't know exactly what that looks like. You know, these could be our last two for mostly all of us. It means a lot, especially back home. For like me and Mike, I've been here all 4 or 5 years. It means a lot.
And you guys being part of the first senior night. How about
Was it?
that? Being part of the first senior night.
Oh yeah, I walked last year, but that was just like my class and all the guys that I had. But knowing this senior night is my last home game, it's gonna be a little bit more sentimental. It's gonna mean a lot more, and it's gonna definitely put a edge behind how I play. Be my last game here.
And then have you thought much at all, kind of what I asked Micah about, North Texas kind of knocked y'all out, it looked like, from bowl contention a couple years ago. How sweet would it be that you could potentially get it back against this team?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's we don't want to leave it up to chances. We want to go and earn it. And but yeah, I can't speak for Micah, but I did play in that game. And if I remember correctly, I think it was kind of cold and kind of rainy. It was kind of one of those annoying games. But yeah, it definitely left a bad taste in our mouth. And just to get this opportunity to have them come in and them being top 25 team, it's a great opportunity, and it's going to feel even better to go and earn that 6th win and knock them out of the ranks and stuff like that when we do. So.
Anything else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
See you all Saturday night. Thursday morning. All right. You can still make sure I didn't show it out.
It's in there.
Yeah.
You just said cheese, you didn't say 3. That's totally no big deal. Someone has to. It always is. Yeah.